Yeah.
You've written about something that this I think is connected to as well, how society is sort of turning to more towards binary thinking. It's something's either for me or against me. Um, Maybe you could speak for a minute about how you've seen this show up in project teams. And I know you've covered a bit of that in this conversation so far, but if there's any other nugget of that could pull some pieces together for people and um, any alternative approaches that you have.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when I first started doing this, I was just kind of feeling around in the world. Nobody had really talked about it a lot, so there wasn't a lot of information out there. So I was kind of, going through looking for stuff, and I've started piecing things together. And what was really interesting was after I'd been doing it for a little while, one of the things that kept cropping up over and over again was the concept of critical thinking skills. And I was talking to some people in higher ed, and they were telling me that one of the things they're noticing about the new students that are coming in is they struggle with critical thinking skills. And that kind of led me down the path of binary thinking and how do those work together. And what I kind of found, and I don't know if there's a whole lot of research on this, but these are just kind of observations I've made through the last number of years, is that binary thinking to me almost looks opposite of critical thinking. So when you're thinking with binary thinking, it's okay, you're either for me or against me. You're either wrong and I'm right, or, and there's these battles. It's not like we're thinking, wow, how can we get together and solve this problem? And we're seeing it a lot in like Facebook, social media, politics. I mean, if you look at our world, everybody is looking at that perspective of and seeing a lot of that of, okay, if you're not on this side, then you're the enemy, or you're the bad person. And when you're talking critical thinking, you're thinking, okay, how do we take this problem and solve it? So now think of a team that you have. And if you use binary thinking as your way to kind of run that, okay, you're either going to do this my way or, get off my team, that can work and you can get it to do it, but it's not going to build trust and it's not going to interconnect positive, that kind of connectivity that we're talking about. And so I think when you're talking binary thinking, you got to look at which one you want for yourself, and I'm a big proponent to say there's no good, bad, wrong, or right. I don't look at the world in that perspective. I look at it from what are things that fracture and what are things that strengthen us. And so when you're looking at those kind of things, you're trying to say, okay, if I'm looking to strengthen my team, what do I need to do to make people feel like it's a connected place? And sometimes that is not an easy answer, but if you're doing those three things in my tenets, the three behaviors, then they're able to at least say, wow, we're doing these three things. What external forces or things like that? And so that's critical thinking because you're trying to figure out a way to make things work in that holistic fashion. If you're a binary thinker, what I have found a lot is binary thinking a lot of times is based on fear because you're trying to kind of prove, okay, my value is tied to whether I'm right or wrong. And so if I'm wrong, my value dips. Or so you have to say, okay, that guy's doing his job wrong. He's really bad at his job. Well, when you say that, what you're saying is, I'm my value feels bad. I feel like I need to bring my value up. So therefore I need to do that. And you're separating it so you can show how strong you are and how good you are. And so that's binary thinking. If you think about any team, which one's going to strengthen your team more or make it more functional? And so you're kind of looking at that. So I tell a lot of the people I work with that if they really want to kind of look at their team, if you've got somebody who's really aggressive or not, their words and actions aren't matching, or they're doing a lot of that blame, that those are high fear levels. And so you need to kind of think, okay, if I've got a lot of fear going on here, what do I need to do in order to show them that we're all valuable, we all have equal value, and we're going to work together to make this successful. Let's focus on the problem instead of whether or not, this guy can do his job or not. So I think, to me, that's a really big question we're going to be asking in the future is, how important is critical thinking in our daily life, because it's a choice. We don't have to be critical thinkers, or we don't have to be binary thinkers. We actually get to kind of choose that, if we're aware of it.